Chat, here we go. We got crew battles today. Spacestation versus Soniqs in the Nissan crew battles, presented by First Touch. Arsenal, Daniel and Retals versus FeerRL, Andy, and ZPS. If you haven't seen a crew battle before, they are special. They're not just your average 3v3 that you probably see these teams normally playing in. So I will go over the rule set for it a bit as we start off this series. Specifically, there's always a little twist or two in every way that people run crew battles, and today's twist is a good one. Now, to start, it'll be threes in game number 1 as FeerRL and the Soniqs score first. Game number 2 will be 2v2, and the game number 3 will be 1v1. Those are all guaranteed game modes. So you maybe haven't seen these players play in those modes before. It'll be nice and interesting. But the twist and the way it's going to work specifically for today's crew battles is games 4 and 5, the losing team will pick what the game mode is, but they cannot repeat any team they made for a previous game. Meaning you put out a team for 2v2s, you cannot put the same 2v2 team out if 2v2 is picked again, as well as 1v1. If you put out a 1v1 player who won in game number 3 or lost in game number 3, you can't put them out again if 1v1 is picked. So that'll be interesting. And assuming the series makes it that far, we might see that come into play for these two teams having to prove that they have the depth and not just the high top end. But right now, Soniqs are up early in the 3v3, and I would say Spacestation maybe in every game mode you could argue is the favorite, but honestly, 3v3, what a shot from Daniel. Might be one of the ones that they're most favored in outside of 1v1s. Daniel is doing this all by himself. Air dribble to the side wall. Gets his flip and uses it for a double. Nobody in the stratosphere of Daniel. Not a single challenge to be seen until somebody on the back wall tried to stop his play and they couldn't. Daniel, somebody did not give him the memo that we weren't to the 1v1s just yet, but he is going to do it all by himself. Arsenal clear to the midfield. We saw FeerRL and the rest of the Soniqs take advantage of a really slow start from Spacestation. I think Spacestation are not likely to give anything as easy as they did to get that first goal. ZPS, a nice 50 win against Retals. They can't get it past Arsenal. They still have it in the corner here. All of SSG is ready and waiting. Daniel's going to get this final clear. Able to beat ZPS to the ball on that shot attempt. And now Arsenal, soft touch. He should be able to continue it. 50 with ZPS, and Andy will fall at center field. Retals chip to the side wall. You see FeerRL being really physical despite Retals taking the ball down to the blue side of the field. FeerRL diving all the way to really the goal line of Spacestation to get that bump. Now Daniel drove from the corner to FeerRL. Good interception from the ceiling, but actually a great 50 for Spacestation. Daniel couldn't get Andy out of position fast enough, trying to finish that off with a demo. Didn't connect, and Andy survives to make a couple good defensive plays. Retals, the reset. I think he had the read. Had Soniqs let it come off the backboard, we might have seen a nasty mechanical play from the long-time RLCS veteran. Retals off the sidewall. Daniel wins the race at FeerRL. He has a reset. His shot is saved away, though. Trying to do it once again out in the open field. You got to keep Daniel from having those open space dribbles, and he's got one once again. He's just been taking the ball to the ceiling every opportunity. Another reset, this time off the backboard. He got all of the Soniqs to miss, but his teammates not close enough to finish it off before the recovery from the Soniqs. So continues to be a 1-1 game. The Soniqs haven't seen a lot of offense or had the ball in the orange half much after that starting scramble from Spacestation. They've gotten their wheels underneath them, and now the Soniqs are having a tougher time. FeerRL to the midfield, though. This is an awkward save for Arsenal. What an angle. ZPS almost finds it. Two of the Soniqs up for it, and the downside of that double commit on offense means the offense will not continue. Spacestation able to get a bit of an easier clear against the one lone person waiting. You know that last back has no choice but to turn away and try and slow down the play. Arsenal carry from the corner, redirected into Soniqs' corner for FeerRL. Tons of air dribbles from everybody trying to come out today. The double read wasn't there. Andy's shot is really soft. Had he been able to place it with speed, I'm not sure if Daniel and Arsenal would have been able to get the save, but the slow enough lob, another great pass. There's just some last second saves from Spacestation. The offense is coming from Soniqs, and I think this might be a bit of a must-win game. Soniqs have it close late if they want to win this series against some of the better Rocket League 2v2 and 1v1 players in the game. I think it might need to start with a 3v3 win. Overtime in game number 1 of Spacestation versus Soniqs. Arsenal a reset as FeerRL saving in the final moments. CPS was off the back wall high, able to make it easier on his teammate to get the save. CPS over 1. Arsenal cleans at the backboard. Sending it to the side wall. Both FeerRL and Andy having to recover at the midfield. Great turn, though, by FeerRL to get up the side wall and stop SSG from pushing on the offense. The Soniqs will keep it. A catch. And it is tapped away. Daniel miss in the corner. This ball floating, waiting for somebody to make a play. Daniel is going to try and slow this down. And Andy does not want to challenge him. Interesting, even in a 3v3 mode, being so patient on the goal line there, afraid of the kind of 50 Daniel could get. Andy, a pop. I don't know if he has any Soniqs teammates around. Spacestation should be able to handle a save. A minute into overtime, though, and the Soniqs have actually had the vast majority of the offense. Arsenal tries to find Daniel. Andy able to cut it off, but Retals will slam it to the backboard. CPS will be forced to make the clear. He gets 2 touches in a row. A great pass down to himself in order to get it past Daniel. FeerRL now. A nice reset to get it over 1. Couldn't get the challenge off the wall with 0 boost. Daniel is out here trying to ISO against the final defenders. Arsenal looking to be a pest, but actually couldn't get Andy off of his defensive stand. He ends up getting the save despite the intense pressure. And the Soniqs stay alive. This is a great challenge for Arsenal, though. FeerRL recovering late. Arsenal just going to resolve to taking the back corner boost as opposed to trying to make a play. And Andy gets a read on Retals. Can he get a double? Andy! A big miss. ZPS not going to be able to find any sort of continuing shot attempts. And SSG get it out of the orange half after one of the closest calls they've had in a while. This time Andy's reset is blocked immediately. Arsenal looking to make a play to himself off the ceiling. CPS delays it. Retals popped high, unchallenged. But Andy just waiting for the right time to get the full field clear. Is able to dunk on Daniel too. Arsenal quick to the ball though. ZPS shot at the backboard. Great recovery from Daniel to clear that away. Not the easiest of reads off the back wall, but an incredibly crucial one. He gets it to put his team potentially back on offense. Nice read from Retals. Last ditch double jump in order to cut off that ball. But it's going to be a bit of a wasted effort as Soniqs are once again back in the orange half. It has been all Soniqs with possession. CPS looking for FeerRL. Daniel once again has just been in the right spot at the right time on all these defensive stands. Right when it feels like Soniqs have set up a play, Daniel is making a quick recovery to stop that. FeerRL now in the corner, trying to carry it out. Andy is able to get this over the top of Retals, so Retals will leave it for Arsenal. He's looking for a ceiling double. ZPS able to clear it away. Daniel trying to slow down to 50. You see Andy having to come out of net because Retals is being a pest. FeerRL, nice recovery. This will be a nasty setup from Retals. He doesn't get it, but he leaves it to Daniel. Great cover by Andy. Everybody has had exceptional defense. The pace is picked up well. The shot attempts that are coming out are solid now. But the Soniqs and Spacestation have both been able to handle it. Andy might be able to finish this one off. Retals a real last-second save. I don't know how that rotation worked for Space Station, such that Retals and Arsenal were both recovering so late. Almost let what was not really that strong of a shot find its way in for a first or a final goal. Arsenal cutting off FeerRL in the corner. Retals, a slow play. Hoping to get ZPS to miss on defense, but ZPS had the read perfectly. Now Arsenal trying to dust FeerRL. Able to get high for the 50. Retals trying to bait Andy in. He wants to have him commit on a challenge and be beat. He doesn't want to try and bring the ball to him. Good job of doing so, but ZPS is still going to be able to carry it away. Retals being patient on the back wall. Daniel needs an awkward touch to get the ball out of dangerous way for his team, and he does. And now ZPS through the air. Low 50. Retals pops it off the back wall. Just enough away from his net. No Soniqs player able to get the set or get the continue there. Arsenal over 1. He's got Retals at the midfield, but with 0 boost. Can't imagine a world in which he finds a way to get it to him. FeerRL now carry from the back wall. Arsenal, did he just take 2 different people off the field? He got himself an exterminator. Or extermination. I don't even know. You see it so rarely. But it's going to happen here in this 5-minute overtime. We played an extra game of Rocket League, and Arsenal is quite the pest. Retals is going to demo somebody on the goal line. FeerRL, what an awkward touch. But he does get it out. Daniel, he couldn't commit to that touch fast enough. I think if he had faith that Arsenal would get the demo, he maybe could have approached that play faster. And now the long shot from FeerRL going to be easily saved by Daniel. The pressure is relieved, at least for a moment, for the Soniqs, as they take it into the Space Station corner. Retals, wait, what happened? What happened? I don't know what happened here. ZPS is flipping out at midfield. I don't know if he's scared of Daniel. Did somebody get demoed? Did I miss a demo? We must have missed a demo. The net was wide open. I must have missed something there. After what was such a tough fought game the entire way, the net was completely undefended, and Retals walks in the slowest of dribbles to take the game. Game number 2, chat. Game number 2 means 2v2, and we've got Daniel and Arsenal with FeerRL and Andy. So if you've been watching the Space Station roster play their 2v2s recently, you know that Daniel and Retals had actually been playing as the 2v2 squad. I think that had to do with Arsenal maybe not feeling as confident as he normally is, but the confidence must be back, as Daniel and Arsenal, who claim they can never lose together, are going to be playing against the Soniqs duo of FeerRL and Andy. I think Soniqs have mixed around their 2v2 squad. Chat, you can correct me if you know better than I do, but I do think they have dabbled in a few different options for their team. But it will be the 2 players who are also known to handle their 1v1s playing together as their 2v2. Oh, look at the chat. Oh, you're right. I didn't do map rotation. Chat, I knew I was supposed to do something. That's right. We'll get map 3, 4, and 5. You guys helped so much, and I didn't change it. I knew there was a reason why I didn't want to ready up immediately. Chat, sometimes I can't be saved. We'll stick with Manfield Knight for game number 2. You know, we did it because Forbidden Temple, you know, has that weird bounce, right? That's what we know. Daniel, tap of the midfield. Didn't want to actually continue to play, just trying to buy himself a little bit more time to grab boost in the back corner. Daniel's dribble stopped out. Arsenal refusing to challenge on FeerRL's dribble here, but for good reason, able to buy his teammates some time. But Daniel once again playing his challenge really passive as he pre-jumps the potential Andy solo play. FeerRL trying to find an angle. Daniel has been an absolute maniac on the saves, but not in a way that I think Space Station is going to feel too good about. How did Daniel do it again? This time it's crossbar down, and somehow he's in the right spot. The Soniqs have had really solid shot attempts that Daniel has been able to miraculously save on multiple occasions. Can they continue to get away with it? It seems like it so far. but it is yet to be seen as neither team has scored here in this game number 2. FeerRL, another double, this time too high. At this point, you're going to start doubting yourself and how solid you can put on a shot. Seems like no matter what you do, Daniel has been clearing it away. So you're going to see players start to aim for that crossbar, for that top corner, and maybe start to just miss in an attempt to place it somewhere that Daniel can't get to. FeerRL off the back wall. Actually not a bad bounce to let go if either one of the Space Station players had actually creeped out with it, but instead they both just glued themselves on the goal line. Arsenal on the wall, Daniel in the net. And luckily the challenge worked. Great flick from Arsenal. A bit too slow to get it past Andy. Andy actually dropping this to Daniel. Nice. I'm surprised Daniel didn't try and take out that last defender, and in fact, Andy just did some of that. He's able to make it back just in time. I thought he had committed too hard to the demo attempts. It's tough in 2v2 to play that disruptor and not leave your teammate completely alone in crucial moments. Daniel, left with nothing, is going to try and just front flip the ball into the corner. Interesting 50 from Andy. Almost in net. Daniel would have been forced to make yet another incredible save. This time he doesn't have to. And now his long clear is tapped away by Andy. Andy up for a dribble. Daniel pre-jumping it, but not coming to challenge. Pre-jumping and just waiting to make a play on the goal line. Oh, this time Daniel can't do it. It's been too much. FeerRL able to 50 this with Arsenal in the corner, and then the slight bump of Daniel. It would have been truly unbelievable. We would have had to check Daniel's version of the game if he was somehow able to save that one. But the Soniqs up 1-0. And honestly, a hard-earned goal. You have to give credit to the Soniqs. They have been the better team in this 2v2 so far. Arsenal, nice flick. Andy laying in wait, though. More than enough boost to make it clear off the back wall. Needed just a quick double jump. Might have gotten it past Daniel with nobody left home. Daniel does get the interception. So he tries to carry the dribble. I think I saw Arsenal upfield. He turns at exactly the moments that the 50 happens, though. Seems to somehow have the read that Daniel was going to lose it to that spot before he even did. FeerRL now out to the midfield. He's going to tap this to the corner and just let Andy take it. Seems like he's going to do both. Pass to Andy in the back corner. 15 seconds left to go. Space Station needs something right now. They haven't had a ton of offense all game long. Arsenal goal line save. Daniel a touch to try and keep possession by putting it back towards his net. He does have one last opportunity. Can Arsenal get the read? He does. That angle was on. Andy saves it. The ball is not on the ground, but it's going to be on the ground now. Soniqs will take the 2v2. It is hard to take Space Station down, but they've done it. And we will definitely get now a game 4, which I'm excited for. Hey, chat, what do you guys say about changing the map? Would you guys want to do that? Does that sound like something that we should do? The game doesn't believe it's a 1v1. Oh, they changed last second. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? The last second switch. I was about to give you the speech about how FeerRL and Andy have both played 1v1s, but that ZPS I thought was also a solid 1v1er, as was about to be proved by the fact that ZPS was going to play. But in the final moments, because the private matches take forever to start when you have this many people in them, they switch out FeerRL they switch out ZPS for FeerRL. They're going to have FeerRL play their ones. And FeerRL has actually played on my stream before. If you guys are here for the first time, we do tons of 1v1s here on this stream. FeerRL is actually one of the most OG 1v1 players on the stream in a long, long time. He hasn't played in a while. He was once a top 20 type player. And now we'll see how he fares against Daniel. Daniel, it's been a while since he's played a 1v1 on this stream. But he definitely spent the time not only as the best 1v1er in North America, but I would say best in the world. Might not be in his top ones form. He hasn't fallen far off, and it's certainly going to be a tough challenge for FeerRL. He's done a good job at the start of this game. Daniel right now trying to milk everything he can get out of this possession. He's got himself an open net, and he does. I mean, he just forced FeerRL to play perfect defense. for an entire minute, it felt. And FeerRL did such a good job, but that final pre-jump was his demise. He's not going to be able to get a solid touch with his flip off the ball, but because he jumped so high, he is forced to make some kind of touch. Really what he wanted to do is get back to the ground. It just couldn't. If he had fallen, Daniel would have just taken what would have been an easy shot either way. So now Daniel, a dribble, saved by FeerRL. Been a while since we've seen FeerRL on the ones field. It'll be interesting to see what kind of ones attack he likes. Right now he's got the ball on his cart. Great flick. It'll be tough to get it over the top with Daniel though, who is at full speed in a good shadow position. FeerRL will cut again. Another early flick. I think FeerRL wants to see success. He's going to have to wait way longer to pull the trigger on those flicks. Daniel, a humongous miss. I was about to give FeerRL a bit of flack for jumping up for this ball. This is a really hard ball to continue on. And if Daniel gets any sort of touch or any sort of 50, I think FeerRL is going to put himself really out of position for the take the other way. And Daniel just whiffed. FeerRL took the gamble and Daniel just whiffed. That is an interesting gamble you might not be able to get away with very often against this player. One thing these ones grinders know is how to win a kickoff, and this time Daniel wins. And the flick is over the top of the recovering FeerRL. Daniel, wall to air dribble. We know how solid he is with these. In fact, this one floating to the ceiling. The reset and the shot is past FeerRL. There may not be a harder player to defend in the air. And Daniel, he's making it seem like he's actually going to touch that ball to the near post. The way he's approaching in the air seems that way, but his flip takes him to the left side of the ball from Daniel's perspective, and he ends up tapping it past FeerRL, even though that was where FeerRL was set up to get the save. It was just too much speed. Daniel! He's going to make it 4-1. It might have been a slow start for Daniel, but you cannot let him have these wall-to-air dribbles. He is just too clean. And this time, he flicks it with power over the top of FeerRL. That is a situation that almost nobody in the world can defend Daniel in, which is the wall-to-air dribble quickly off the kickoff. The player who's having to defend is coming back to net. They're either retreating far from net in order to pick up the back corner boost, and they'll be recovering late, or they're trying to play it with just a couple pads they pick up off the kickoff, which is not a ton of boost to work with. And Daniel is so quick with the setup, forces you into that tough spot right away. Now, FeerRL, for the first time since Daniel's first goal, has been able to stop the bleeding on the kickoff. He has a little bit of space. He's going to take an air dribble of his own, trying to bump Daniel, and he got Daniel to miss. Solid play. Daniel tried to pre-jump it. And even though he did get over the top of FeerRL, it was at the cost of getting the save. You can see he tried to use his flip. Right after FeerRL had passed, he wanted to kill all his upward momentum in his last-ditch effort to touch the ball, but even that was too high. So nice execution by FeerRL. I think FeerRL has to stop these. He cannot be giving Daniel dribbles at the start of kickoffs for very long and expect to win. This time, the early challenge is there, but the low 50 challenge is not. 5-2 for Daniel. FeerRL did get a kickoff of his own. He didn't get the power. Even if he did get the maximum power, he could have. I don't know that he would have made it past Daniel anyways. Daniel going for a long shot. FeerRL diving all the way into the corner in an attempt to take the boost and not getting it. Does mean that he'll be on a late recovery, but Daniel wasn't quite fast enough to get away with that. He's about to drop the ball to FeerRL in what seemed like a massive mistake. But of course, Daniel finds a way to keep it out. Able to dodge the pressure. Nice low 50. Good fake. Now FeerRL has the ball right where he wants it, but he cannot find it in the top right corner. I think he needed to get ahead of the ball and try and demo Daniel. Daniel's just way too fast on the recoveries. Now this time, trying to fake the bounce off the ground. FeerRL able to cover it. We have seen that no flip usage become so prevalent in the 1v1 scene now that players are so consistent in the air. FeerRL, thank goodness he got this. He would have been really beating himself up. if he wasn't able to get what is a wide open net that Daniel left for him. He did need to think about Daniel coming back to demo him. .48 seconds. FeerRL needs a clean kickoff. Probably the most important thing here for him in this game. The majority of Daniel's goals have come off of either immediate kickoffs or the pressure shortly following a kickoff win, which I would say right now we are still in. FeerRL is still trying to do damage control on the lost kickoff, and Daniel, unlike many other 1v1 players, can find a power shot whenever you creep out of the net. FeerRL did not creep that far out of the net. He was thinking about coming to put pressure, but I would actually say he was still very far away. Daniel just screams one right underneath the crossbar. There's nothing FeerRL can do. Now, with 30 seconds left to go, you have to think that Daniel is going to be getting the ones win for his team. But as I talked about before, they will not be able to use Daniel in a ones game again. If this game goes to game 4 or 5, we know it's going to game 4. If it goes to 5 and the Soniqs want to pick 1v1, I guess they could pick 1v1 right now. If they thought they had a better chance in 1v1 against the second best player on SSG, they could. Now, I don't think they will. I think we're going to see 2v2 again from the Soniqs. But even 2v2, it cannot be Daniel and Arsenal. It cannot be FeerRL and Andy who run the 2v2. All right, I'm going to remind them. Cannot run the same twos team as they did in the first game. Oh, they're going to go threes. There you go. They wanted to run that same exact twos team. Map change. You're right. Did I ready up? For game number 4, the Soniqs are going with 3v3. They were going to go 2v2 until I reminded them that we're not going to be able to run FeerRL and Andy together. They would have to pick a different 2v2 squad. And that was enough to convince them they wanted threes instead. And it's not looking great for them at the start. Arsenal with the immediate goal, ZPS. We didn't really get to see it from Arsenal's perspective there, because ZPS got that touch right before Arsenal dunked him. But credit to Arsenal. 7 seconds into the game, he's put Spacestation back on top. It is going to be a hard climb for the Soniqs. They had a tough time finding offense. In the first game of 3v3, they were able to get that immediate goal off of the kind of scramble that we just saw at the beginning of this game. And they ultimately never found another goal. They were able to play solid defense, but the offense just wasn't there. And to be fair, that's because of some miraculous saves from Daniel. So assuming Daniel is a little bit less on one today, or sorry, not today, but this game, there's a chance that the Soniqs could find their way back in. FeerRL, decent 50, chipping it out to ZPS, but Arsenal is more than ready to take away that final shot. Shango, thank you for the prime, by the way. Daniel, high lob to Retals at the midfield. Retals a little bit underneath it. Couldn't get to the ball in time. Tried to pre-read the pass. Just overshot it underneath it. Retals can't get the 50. ZPS in the corner, another great 50. The ball is lobbed back to Arsenal. He's just going to send it right back. Retals, another miss, as his teammates have been unable to find him upfield. Demos all across the map. I couldn't tell you whether it's a 2v1 or 2v2 or whatever. Almost everybody on the field is dead. The respawns are back. And FeerRL has the ball falling in front of the net, taking Arsenal off the goal line. Daniel, a nice pre-jump, stopping the shot before it ever stood a chance. Andy looking for a double off the back wall. Gonna have to 50 it with Retals in the process. Daniel able to give it out of his own corner for the first time in a while. The Soniqs had them stuck there. Can they get an immediate clear? It doesn't seem like it. Andy to Daniel, who is 50ing it. But they're both on the wrong side of the ball. Andy was actually forcing it into his own net. Daniel was there to keep it out. Interesting mix-up between the two. Now, wait a second. Arsenal, did he get a touch on this? What was this shot? Retals just lobs the ball. It seemed like everybody just missed. But Arsenal, oh, he does accelerate it just a little bit. I don't know if ZPS would have had the save either way, but he does give it a little bit extra speed. And let's go ahead and say that ZPS would have saved it if it weren't for the Arsenal redirect in the final moments. Arsenal 2 goals. Soniqs, it's not that they've had a lack of possession, because there have been tons of opportunities for them to create chances in the Space Station half. They just haven't been able to find any solid ones. Everything seems to end with a lackluster shot that the Space Station players can easily save. Retals popping this towards the net. Arsenal doesn't have any boost to pressure it, so he is just going to drive as a formality to force the Soniqs to pop the ball instead of carrying it away. Ooh, that would have been a nasty doink redirect if Arsenal could have found it. The way he's playing in this game so far, we almost expect him to. ZPS is just playing super aggressive. He's had enough of Space Station on the goal line. He wants to get them out of the way, but it hasn't led to anything for them. Daniel, a double is missed. And now a 3-on-1. Technically, ZPS trying to cut Retals off, but he jumps naturally into the challenge. It didn't take him out of what he wanted to do really much at all. Retals to the corner. Actually ends up bumping Andy into a nice air dribble to take this one away. ZPS, he has been on a mission, taking Space Station players out at every possible moment, but a well-timed bump means Daniel's going to have a dribble at the midfield, refusing to give up on this ball. It is eventually going to go to FeerRL. Misread, though, as the ball bounces stronger off the ceiling than he was expecting. Andy, a big miss, and now it's FeerRL all alone. Space Station actually clearing it to the back wall, giving FeerRL a chance to get underneath himself. Now Daniel looking for a double. His double is wide. He didn't really force any Soniqs defender up either, which means continuation is not going to be easy for his team. Arsenal, the interception. 50 with FeerRL. The net just seems wide open. And there it is, a third. Certainly this will be the ice for the game. Space Station are going to take it in 4. They did drop that 2v2. Andy and FeerRL doing a good job against Arsenal and Daniel, but for whatever reason, the Soniqs wanted 3v3 again. They didn't have faith in a different 2v2 team. And Space Station certainly the more tenured, more talented threes team. And they're proving it here in both threes games today. The ball hit the ground. Space Station take it in 4 as they move on to play, I don't know, chat. You tell me.